Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Bandits, Boko Haram packed behind renewed insecurity. Cracks over zoning, consensus deepen in PDP. Statistician General Harry dies at 57. 12 military impersonators held. Police pension fraud, ex-director to refund 22.9 billion naira. INEC voids 1.1 million voter registration. Lekki toll link bridge tolling resumes tomorrow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, so the Supreme Court has affirmed the 6-year jail term handed to the former Assistant Director in Federal Civil Service, John Yusufu Yakubu. He was convicted for his complicity in conversion of about 24 billion from the police pension fund. Now, the Court of Appeal in Abuja had, in a judgment in May 2018, reversed the earlier decision. So the earlier decision that the court had given was that he was just supposed to pay about 250,000 naira fine for this fraud that happened. But they have now deferred, they have now upheld the judgment, which gives him to spend about 6 years jail term and refunding the total money that was, stolen, so to speak. And they are saying that this is a way to deter other people, other criminals who are thinking of, just squandering police pension funds, squandering civil service funds, and just feeling that they can pay some fine and get away with it. This will serve as a deterrent. So he's going to refund this amount of money and serve his jail term.
So the Lekki Ikoyi bridge, the LCC, they are making a case for making the tolls, resuming the tolls. So they had announced initially that the tolls will resume on the 1st of April, but they said after consultations, they decided to shift it to the 15th of April. The statement came from the Lagos State Transport Commissioner, Dr. Frederick Oladeinde, who said that this would be saving businesses. He mentioned the fact that it has been closed since October 2020, after what happened. And he said he knows that a lot of Lagosians are unhappy that the Lagos State government is stepping towards reopening the toll gates. But we need to know that we're doing this in the best interest of all parties, including investors, who have always requested we guarantee the safety of their investment. Right. So it's a business as well. So that's.
So I know that the one at the Lekki isn't the one that has been reopened. It's the one at the Ikoyi.
Ikoyi is the one they want to reopen first.
Now, okay, I was going to take the. Go ahead, INEC.
Yeah, so 1.1 million votes, over 1.1 million. Sorry, registrations have been sort of invalidated. Have been invalidated by INEC, and the story is that. Of course, once registration is done, it's INEC's duty to go through that register and make sure that everything is as it's meant to be, the registrations follow the guideline. But it shows over almost 50% of most registrations to be invalidated because of many other, because of so many things. Some have registered before and for some reason think that they should not register again. Then because of the update in our registration, where we're now using the biometric and the fingerprint as compared to the way we used to do it, is now making it easier and better for INEC to be able to clean up all invalid registers. So, and they're also saying to political parties that there are guidelines that needs to be followed, INEC guidelines that need to be followed, like the primaries coming up, you need to give INEC notice, and INEC says 10 political parties have given them notice, but the two major ones, APC and PDP, are yet to send their notices yet. And it says that the guidelines need to be followed strictly so that they do not have to incur some unhappy consequences. So it's important. So INEC is just letting us know that some of these numbers, even though there is an increase, there's high number of registrants, new registrants, we still have a high number of those who are invalidated for different reasons.
The major headlines. So the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Information were speaking at the FEC meeting yesterday, saying that there's an unholy handshake between the bandits and the terrorists. According to them, this is what has caused the upsurge that was seen in the killings that happened in Clayton State and even the train attack. But they are showing us that they are fighting. They've also reminded us that they are fighting an asymmetrical war, a war which the other side does not obey and recognize the terms of engagement, but they have to adhere to the rules of engagement. So they're saying that they've been decimated for about a month, but now their modus operandi now is to these kind of major targets where you get like a train, the airport, stuff like that, which they are reassuring the government at the FEC meeting that all hands are on deck to ensure that they bring these people, they fish them out from where they are. They said that the respective arms of government are working to get those victims released, and said that they cannot expose or release the conversation they're having with the terrorists, but they're just assuring the government that they are on top of it. Moving on quickly to the Punch. Security agents aiding bandits, alleged reps demand NSA minister sacking. Picture here of some army arrested 12 imposters, warns against use of military bail, says the government. 2 Ikoyi high-rise buildings fail integrity tests and risk collapse. Osinachi church unaware of abuse, minister says husband married to another woman. NBA, others slam army for hiding Osun killer soldiers demand prosecution. Grid collapse. FG approves 1.4 billion naira for power transmission projects. CVR, 45% of completed registration nationwide invalid, says INEC. Food imports bill jumps by 45% to 1.2 trillion according to CBN report. And I'll be courageous as Nigeria's president, says Tinubu. Okay, which story?
The major headline. So the House of Representatives are condemning the rising insecurity in the country, especially the recent killings we know that happened in Benue, Taraba, and Plateau states. And according to the lawmakers, they had a plenary on Wednesday, and they are demanding the removal of the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Bunguno, and the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi. They are also saying that security agents were aiding and abetting these bandits and other criminals, and ensuring that they are, being provided funds. So there's this particular soldier that was caught recently who was supposed to be serving in Zamfara, but was found in Plateau State handing materials to bandits, giving them uniforms and every other material that they needed. So they are saying that most of these insecurities we're having is because the people in leadership are benefiting from these insecurities, because the National Assembly keeps appropriating funds for insecurity, and yet nothing is done. Nobody is fishing out anybody. The soldier now that was caught was doing it red-handed. Nobody has sanctioned him. He has not been reported. He has not been sent to jail. Nothing has happened. They've caught some other people, other security agencies who are, passing communication to the bandits, and yet nobody has been prosecuted. So they need to do more, and these people who have failed in the protecting of lives and properties need to resign.
Yeah, I have a human interest story in
Yes.
Punch. This happened in Sokoto, one of the villages. So a group of over 30 people, mostly women and children, had got on a canoe, and their canoe hit a tree, they say, in the river, and it capsized. The rescuers were only able to rescue 6 persons, and the rest of them, the rest of them passed. They said 28 bodies were recovered. The leader of, the head of the village, his name is Awolu. He says that 5 of his children were amongst those that passed, and
5 of one person's children.
So he was talking from the cemetery where they're trying to bury the children. May their souls rest in peace.
Let's go on a break. Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch and the story about the 2 Ikoyi high-rise buildings in Ikoyi. If you recall, the building that was built by Foursquare developer that went down last year. So integrity tests were carried out on the remaining 2 buildings, which are 15 floors each. And they said that those towers in the adjoining buildings revealed that high-rise structures were at risk of collapse due to structural inadequacies and professional ineptitude by the developers. So they're saying that once dead weight gets in there, it comes down. The right now is not coming down because they've not put in furniture, air conditioner, stuff like that. And once those things go in, there's a likelihood it's going to come down because obviously it wasn't properly built. So that's part of the integrity reports that's come out from those other adjacent buildings from the one that collapsed.
The Supreme Court has upheld the affirmed the 6-year jail term against the Federal Director of Pensions, Mr. John Yakubu Yusuf. Oh, seriously?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
All right, moving
so
on.
let me take...
Let's
move on.
The Daily Sun. Gunmen kill 4 men, other in Anambra and Ebonyi. 2023, Ayim Bala Mohammed seek PDP National Working Committee support. Reps demand Defense Minister NSA sack. You have failed politicians seeking publicity. Presidency hits Northern elders. 2023, I am not in the race to negotiate for VP, says Wike. Supreme Court affirms 6 years jail term for ex-federal pension director John Yusuf. And U.S. rates Buhari's government low on corruption, says there's widespread fraud.
Okay, so the United States has rated our government, our country, as really low when it comes to corruption. At first, when I read it, I thought it was, oh, it's so that I thought they meant we're so good, so our corruption level is low. Until I read it, I was like, oh, okay. They're saying that we haven't done very well in our fight against corruption, especially this administration. And they said the problem really is that this particular administration is not very good with enforcement and prosecution, and and then we also have a weak judiciary. It says also our constitution allows for our president, vice president, governors, and deputy governors to be immune to any forms of court or cases or prosecution during their tenure. And so this has emboldened people, to carry out all sorts of corrupt practices in the civil service and, among elected government officials. And really the focus is the fact that when it comes to the enforcement of of prosecution and penalizing these corrupt people, we do not push for it. Yeah, we talk about the insecurity and the fact that even though people have been constantly abducted, kidnapped, we do not see the end of people being arrested and prosecuted. So many other human rights infractions that they say that we have.
Yeah, so about 4 policemen yesterday were killed at the Atani police station in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State. The government stormed the police station about 1 a.m. After killing the police officers. They set part of the station ablaze. Fortunately, the commissioner of police and about 10 police officers were able to come as quickly as they could, and they had an interface with these hoodlums. Unfortunately for them, they lost 4 of their men. Wow. It's just a painful story.
Right.
Okay,
Governor Wike is not letting go. He's saying he's got to be president, because he was saying yesterday...
He's not running to become VP.
Saying that I'm not running to become VP. In fact, I'm the only one that can tell APC to go to hell. Yes. He said it very clearly. What's amazing was, he said that some of his colleagues are even collecting Senate forms at the backyard. That he, he is not collecting Senate forms. That he's here. He's the only one that can become president of this country. Sometimes you think that you need a Wike because Wike is very... He says it as it is. He drops it as it is. He's telling them all that, see, I am here. I'm the only one that can run for this, that can take this ticket from PDP, that all this is saying consensus zoning, that listen, they should zone, they will eventually be zoned south, and he's going to be the one to...
But that's the general spirit of this particular election general election coming forward. Everybody is like bold. It's like, see, I'm running, I'm not, I've been waiting for you to come so that, to end your tenure so that I can run for office.
But let's highlight some of the challenges that we're expecting them to fix. The report has it that food importation to Nigeria has jumped by 45% from the CBN report. 45%. We're now spending, before we used to spend about, we're spending 1.8 billion naira importing food into Nigeria. Now we're spending $2.7 billion in importing food into Nigeria. That is 1.12 trillion naira in 12 months. The CBN governor says it's not sustainable. We need to, even though the CBN governor said several times that we can produce enough in Nigeria, our manufacturing needs to refine it to the extent where Nigerians can consume what we're eating. Of course, we must realize that everybody that is vying for presidency should realize we have insufficiency in food, insufficiency in power. So you know the problems you are going to fix. It's not just about saying, I'm going to become president. It's that you are going to become a solution to the several problems that are...
The problem is multifaceted. So don't come and say, you don't know what's inside. It's not a walk in the park. Start hearing now. It's not a walk in the park. There's insecurity, there's food issue, there's electricity, there's infrastructure, there's agriculture.
To solve problems.
Economic problems.
They're not coming to sit down.
Moving on to Vanguard. All this speaking English, that I want to run, I want to run. Anybody better know what they're talking about. Vanguard. Outrage as Sultan Khan MBF reps lament killings. Insecurity, 31 killed in Southeast in 72 hours. Fear of abduction causing drop in school enrollment, says Amnesty International. 2023, Nigeria needs courageous, experienced leader like me, says Tinubu. Strike, NLC gives FG 21 days to resolve issues with varsity unions. Igbo presidency, our position is without apologies, Afenifere tells NEF. Osinachi Nwachukwu denies responsibility for wife's death. Okay.
So Pastor Peter Nwachukwu, the husband of the late gospel artist Osinachi, has told police investigators that he is not responsible for the death of his wife, saying that she's been ill and it's something that they have been managing. They've gone to about 3 to 4 different hospitals trying to manage the issues. He didn't mention the illness. He mentioned the names of the hospitals. And so they had to release him to go home to get evidence to show that he actually moved from one hospital to the other. And according to the report, they said so far they have not seen any form of evidence. Yeah. The mother, on the other hand, narrated the ordeals of Osinachi, saying that she's been suffering in that marriage. And there was even a time that they took her away from the husband for about 15 months. And then she found her way back there. They had taken her out about 2 times, and she still found her way back there, narrating how he dealt with the family members, did not allow them to come close to her.
This might my go scot-free. I hope we know. I hope Nigerians are ready for
that's
this.
Nigeria.
Because the truth is that what led to her death
might be different
might be different from what actually happened.
What we are saying,
she's experienced a lot of beating all the way. So
and then he accumulated.
How do you prove that? Is that accumulation that led to the sickness? How do you prove that in court? I don't know. So Nigerians, as much as we like to be all emotional, but the reality is when you put the facts forward, this might just work.
Hey.
Okay, another story in Vanguard.
Yeah, the presidency is saying, don't destroy Nigeria in your desperation for power. He was speaking to the Northern Elders Forum because apparently they called for his resignation. The statement was released by Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publication, and it was now recounting all the good things that the president has done, beefing up the security apparatus, what they've done. It is important citizens know the government is doing to deal with the situation. So he listed all the things that they have done. New operational structure being reinforced, land-based assets increase, troops and intelligence is equally being reinforced, air defense system is being done, listing a lot of things that has been done and saying that the president resigning now isn't going to solve the problem, that this insecurity challenges we are facing, as usual, is something that has been happening for a long time and is a accumulation of many years of neglect. So that's from Garba Shehu speaking on behalf of the president, that the Northern Elders shouldn't call for.
Amnesty International.
Go ahead.
Is saying that there's been a drop in school enrollment because of fear in abduction.
Yes.
And, you know, they say 8 years after the abduction of 276 Chibok schoolgirls by Boko Haram, many of these regions that were affected have seen a drop in children enrolling and attending schools and a rise in child marriage and pregnancies of school-age schoolgirls. That is so sad. You know, and he also said that since the Chibok abduction, there hasn't been anything, there has been even more abductions and kidnappings done so, you know, brazenly, and it doesn't seem as if the government has a grip on what is happening. They also gave a few statistics. They say that 1,500 students, children, still in captivity since the Chibok 2014 kidnap. 120 schoolgirls are still in captivity. 109 out of the 207 from the Birnin Yeri Government College are still in captivity. 1 out of the 221 from Bethel Baptist School in captivity. 5 of the 19 Greenfield University brutally murdered. 1 of the 333 in Kankara murdered. And 5 of the 276 from Tapchi killed. So it just shows us that, you know, we have children in captivity. And
they're human beings.
Our final paper very quickly, Nigerian Tribune. Let's see the story not taking. Fire-Me may join presidential race after fasting season. Nigeria needs me even as I need Nigeria, says Tinubu. FEC approves 1.4 billion naira for power sector. Don't destroy Nigeria in your desperation for power. Presidency replies Northern Elders. And immigration officers arrest American with firearms at Lagos airport. So which story have we to take?
Let me take the Tinubu story. So the presidential aspirant and former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was speaking to all the APC-led state speakers and deputy speaker. He was hosted by the Lagos State House of Assembly Speaker, Mudashiru Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, and he spoke to the fact that Nigeria needs courageous leadership, and that a courageous leadership that will raise the revenue of the country and deal with the issues. He mentioned he's born for this. He's always been courageous, and Nigeria needs him as much as he needs Nigeria. Right. He said, I want to bring to bear accelerated development for our nation, and I'm ready to do that again as I did in Lagos. All right, so Governor Fayemi too is saying that he's going to declare, no, he didn't say he was going to declare, journalists were asking him in Gombe State, when are you going to declare? He said, it's fasting season now. I'm a Catholic. There's Lent going on. The Muslim for Yahya below here is fasting. Please, nobody should ask me any questions. After fasting, we'll talk about it. We are hoping we'll see if we will join the declarations that we've been seeing across board. Let's go on a quick break. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, bringing our special guest this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.